There are spoilers.
Okay. Was there a person here? Hmm. Well, put it out there in a few places. I figured somebody would show up. When should I start? I guess I can start at 6. I mean, I posted that link a few places. No chat. The one viewer is just me. shouldn't be surprised. I'm not gonna like heavily. Probably not till next week, so I'm gonna heavily promote my stream. Because then next week I'll be playing games, actually games. Okay. Yeah, I guess once we hit streaming for 20 minutes, I'll watch some videos. Yeah. Still got a few minutes. Minute to go. Alright, it's been 20 minutes. I've informed enough people. Okay, let's watch some videos. Turn that on. And, I guess we'll go.
This video is brought to you by my patrons.
I don't know
If you'd
how
like to
loud that
support,
is.
head over to patreon.com/MaggieMayFish. And by Mubi, a curated streaming service showing
I like
exceptional
this
films
channel.
from around the globe. Welcome to Darlene's DIY.
Oh boy. And it doesn't look very good. Hold on. Exit full screen. Oh, yeah, that looks bad. I'm looking at my other screen over there. Okay, I guess we'll just let me see something. Can I make this a little bit bigger, or am I gonna have to hide my face? Yeah. Okay. I think this works. Hold on. Right there. And yeah, we could do that. Oh. My mouse is acting up weird. Hold on. And then we'll... Nope, wrong. Ah! Okay, there we go. We'll move you and shrink that down. Get them all in frame here. There we go. Oh, wrong thing. Ah! My mouse is like double clicking. There we go. Okay. Then we're good to go. And we'll just watch this way.
DIY channel. Today, we're actually gonna do something a little bit different and talk about two DIY
I've seen this video,
style
full closure,
icons
but I
who
think it's a
recently
good
made
video.
a big splash on the streaming platform Nebula. I mean Netflix. Sorry, weird how that just kind of rolled out of my mouth. This is the show that got me through my scare. And if you all remember, that was when we all first learned about the outbreak, and I was afraid that my gardener might have it because, you know, he's like working in the dirt all day. Ew. So I crawled in the shower and cried for a couple hours. I live streamed the whole thing over on my vlog channel. You should check it out if you haven't yet. It was sponsored by Sensational Spas. For all your pool and spa needs. Motel Makeover follows the story of best friends, and that's it.
We're business partners, best friends, and we're building a motel empire.
Sarah
Yeah,
and
you can
April,
kind of
owners
figure
of
out
the
what these two are all
quirky,
about.
Kitschy June Motel in Prince Edward County, Canada.
We take gross old motels and we bring them back to life.
The Netflix series follows these two as they flip an old motel into their second location in the coastal beach town of Sable Beach. April here comes from the marketing world, and let's just say you can tell.
We're gonna Junify this place. Junify is a word that
That's not a
we
word.
invented.
That's such a terrible
It means
word.
taking a place that's not pretty and finding ways to make it really special.
You mean boring? Look at this.
Although they didn't have any real experience,
We had zero experience in hospitality.
They just had money,
and zero
so
professional experience in design and renovation.
spoiler, I
each
guess.
of these ladies is a self-made entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Or, sorry.
An entrepreneur, a girl boss, a motelier.
Oh my
In
god.
other words, they seem to be able to make mistakes left and right because they have a lot of money. So they can pay to fix any problem that pops up.
They could just
The
ruin
problems that
everything.
They themselves have caused. They're probably best known for their catchy and unique, off-the-cuff quips.
This is the dream, a motel pool. I have a lot of confidence in our ability to work hard and get it done.
Is that what you do? Is you just hype each other up all day?
Makes me feel like we're all ready to work.
Yeah.
Right?
And overall down-to-earth relatability.
I feel like it's a really special throwback, good old days moment to get a lobster roll.
Dude, it's a
We
special
watch them struggle
occasion
with
for
their
me to get a
work-life
lobster
balance.
roll.
It's really tough to balance business and love. There will be years that we'll get to invest more into the relationships in our lives, but this is just not one of them. Last year I got married to Rod. He's so supportive, but he's very private. He doesn't even have Instagram.
Wow, what a
And the
weirdo.
financial anxieties of two ridiculously rich people.
Is $100,000 enough? It's all we have.
Oh, only
And it goes without
100,000.
saying,
Shit.
their personalities really ingratiate them with the locals.
Any chance you guys have oat milk lattes?
No, I don't think so, sorry.
Almond milk lattes? Soy milk lattes?
Uh-oh.
Can I do a green tea, please?
Sure.
Doesn't say a lot, but he has agreed to do the project. All right.
What makes this show really hit home is that it's not just a 6-episode ad for the new June Motel. It's
Isn't
also a
it?
great how-to guide for anyone out there getting ready to become your own motelier. You know that me and Paul have been setting aside mounds of our YouTube IOUs to buy up a small farm from a struggling family, which we would probably bulldoze, who can't afford to make ends meet anymore. But this show made me think, why not use that money to buy a motel where that struggling family can come and pay us to get away from their troubles? These girls get it.
Motels have typically been family-run operations.
They sure were family run, but they were bought up by people like April and Sarah, whose business goal was not to just own one single motel, but are in fact building a motel empire.
Do you need a
Rooms went
motel
from
empire?
$90 to $500 a night.
That's
And
bad.
it's sold out ever since.
Let's take a look at how these
That's a
two
bad
moteliers
thing.
with no design experience go about designing their new motel. I don't know why, but at first I had high hopes for these queen bees. Maybe I'm biased in the kind of interior design I enjoy, as evidenced in my bedroom, which has been repeatedly described as Clockwork Orange-esque. But part of the fun of redecorating an entire motel, I would think, is to really put your artistic stamp on it. It's a design show. I don't feel like I'm asking much.
There are are no real rules when it comes to mixing colors.
Okay, well, that's debatable.
That's a
We like to
lie.
play within the color palette until the balance is just right.
And then it started.
We're painting the front of the restaurant and the A-frame white,
Painting everything.
What are they doing? They should.
including the rock walls.
That looks awful.
Number one thing is like the space. It's gonna look good white.
No.
Beautiful 70s wood paneling wall that I would legitimately kill to have in my house.
I'm actually so happy that the wood paneling was here.
Paint it white.
It's character.
Totally.
You ruined the
Brick deck.
character.
White.
Let's cover this interlocking brick with a white wooden deck.
This looks
The original, like,
terrible.
exposed stone.
This, like, favorite part of the motel right here.
We're painting it white.
No, we're not.
I mean, sure, who doesn't want to live in the prison from THX 1138? And if it's not chipped Skylark white, they pick what I can only describe as cervical wall pink.
We painted our kitchen pink. We love apricot beige.
It's intense, but it's warm.
It sucks.
And what's really weird is how different their concept art is to the final product. It's like they'd start with at least a passable idea, but then slowly give up and talk themselves out of making any choice at all.
I can't. I don't even have any words.
Yeah, this sucks. This
Like
looks
in this
boring.
bathroom concept art, they pick a fancy hexagonal tile. But in the reveal, it's the same square tiles from any locker room shower.
God, I couldn't
Very
imagine
cool bathroom. I really like it.
looking
They
at
picked the
this
square tiles
aesthetic and thinking,
because
yeah, man,
they're
we did
cheaper.
a good
How do I
job
know
here.
They're cheaper because besides mislabeling everything as unique, vintage, and Scandinavian, the other thing that they constantly talk about is how little money they spend on the things going into the $500 a night rooms. Most of their
These are
gigabyte
not
hits
500
are just ways
a
of
night
creating
rooms.
barely passable furniture that would crumple under the weight of a rosé can. The motel makeover design aesthetic culminates in what the Shining Twins call moments.
It's awesome.
That's such a good moment. I think that's a really cool photographed moment. But the plan is to create a bit of a moment. This is gonna be a photo moment.
This is an iconic moment.
No.
That is a moment, and we've been looking for those moments.
Moments are like slices of life that pop, or in marketing turned motelier speak, repackaging the human experience as product for consumption.
That's
What?
an Instagram moment. Our
Jeez.
pink doors at our first motel are so iconic. And a big social media moment. I
Is
really
it?
wanna
It
lean
looks
into
bad.
the
It looks
ceiling.
terrible.
That's so funny. I'm always leaning
It looks
into the moments of my
fake. This
ceiling.
whole motel thing they're doing looks fake.
What these women bring to the motel experience cannot be understated. I often think of motels as these gross, poor people hotels, but with some ingenious design and smart financial know-how, they were able to turn it into something where you'd be happy to spend $25 for a lobster roll.
Yeah,
It was at
that kind of
this
stuff you don't
I
have
started to
every
ask
day.
myself, who the hell is this show for?
That's a good
How
question.
many random Netflix viewers simultaneously have enough money and desire to buy and remodel entire motels?
Right?
And if it's trying to get us to come all the way to Sauble Beach to stay at the June Motel, why are you telling us how little you paid for the room tchotchkes? We have that IKEA table! Just when things are kicked into high gear, painted all the walls in a translucent film, assembled all the mound dressers, and sold the beautiful hardwood walls for 30 pieces of silver, COVID hits.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
COVID-19 is a real thing.
It certainly is, ladies, as it was for anyone who watched the show on Netflix. I'm sure they too were dealing with isolation, lost wages, inadequate government response, especially in small communities like Sauble Beach. But you wouldn't know it from watching these two.
Even with COVID, I feel like we've managed to pull off like a really amazing
These type of
moment.
people are
It's
kind
so
of the
wild to be
worst
a member
people.
of the real world and see April and Sarah struggle with the problems that rich entrepreneurs face during the height of the. Okay, wait. YouTube can be weird if you say certain words too many times. So instead of saying COVID, I'm going to use some hip marketing know-how and call it the lobster roll. For example, there is this white fence surrounding the pool. White, you'd think. Surely they'd keep this as to save money and because it's already the not color they love so much. Well, I'm sorry to say, you are a fool, because obviously it should be ripped up and replaced with one of the easiest materials to clean, glass. The plan seems all fine and dandy until they learn about the lumber and labor shortages.
Everywhere there is a shortage of pressure-treated lumber, and it's a result of mills having been shut down.
Rick does not have any more lumber to do any more than what I see right now.
No.
They also want to build a wood structure to eat under.
Our first priority is getting some sort of shade structure built.
Maybe the show should have been
The name
canceled.
you're looking for is pergola, you uncultured swine. And run into issues securing plexiglass, another material on hold because of the chaos caused by the once-in-a-century global disaster.
It's gonna be tricky to get it on time. It is a
Yeah, this
shortage,
guy, he's like not, he's
Kinda on me to
kind of
find it.
tired of
You
them.
can see the contractor is getting
Right?
frustrated at April and Sarah's complete lack of understanding of why there might be severe delays. Then they stumble upon black mold and for some reason never check to see if the pool pump actually worked.
Oh.
So, right before opening, they tack on an entire list of things that other workers will have to come in and risk their lives to do. But these are the sacrifices that the June Motel demands. Don't worry, by the end of the series, they painted everything white, or clitoral puce, and have it all ready
They
for a
ruined it.
motel packed with guests during the lobster roll. Because nothing can stop the flow of rosé. The writers of the HBO show Succession said that they didn't need to rewrite any of the new seasons to incorporate the lobster roll because wealthy people weren't affected by it. At least not in the way that you or I or the locals were affected by the tainted lobster roll. What a brilliant insight. Also illustrated by Sarah and April's talks about their financial situation.
The June in Sauble Beach was supposed to be open by now, and our original motel has also been closed, so we've had no income at all. We don't know when money is going to start coming in, and we have such huge bills to pay.
Jeez.
When they say that they are losing money, they're not losing money in the way that you or I think of losing money. Like
Yeah.
being denied unemployment as you watch your savings shrink every time you buy ramen at the grocery store. They mean it as in a loss of future profits. They had wanted to open the motel on schedule, so the money they claim they lost is really just money they'll have to wait slightly longer for. Rich people count money that they haven't made yet, but wanted to
That's
make
insane.
as money they have lost. Take
To
a
be
deep
honest.
gulp of rosé and let that sink in. If you already have tons of money, this lobster roll was a breeze. More than that, in fact, the richest of the rich made bank during the pandemic, while working class families dealt with unsafe work environments and job
Figures. Yeah, makes
the rich
sense.
live in a different reality, and it's really hard to understand what exactly we're supposed to feel bad about during any of this.
This feels good.
You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the locals. In June of 2020, a few months before this episode was shot, the city
Oh,
council
boy.
closed Sauble Beach because of tourists, after people witnessed the recklessness of beachgoers over the last 2 weekends. I feel bad for the contractors and the people who might be infected by the soon-to-come swaths of out-of-towners demanding lattes at every store that dare to brew a cup of joe. This is where the show is really boiled down to its essence. 6 episodes of 2 rich people only mildly inconvenienced by a raging pandemic, narrating other people's labor while twirling their mustaches about how they can lower the water pressure to save on their monthly bill. They will occasionally paint like one board or check to see how paint looks on a door.
I'm into it.
But then they'll just walk away and let someone else finish the job.
I have lots of stuff to do.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.
Really?
Yeah,
couldn't
you
have
hear
gotten
the
out of here
sound of that
fast.
guy's voice? Like, it was
What
just
really made
utter
this show
defeat. Can we hear that
emotionally
again?
hit
Hold
home for
on.
me Is that every store that while twirling the show
I wanna hear that
emotionally
guy's-
hit home for me.
You're welcome
Is
again.
that
Come on.
on a door?
I'm into it.
But then they'll just walk away and let someone else finish the job.
I have lots
Let's
of
hear
stuff
this
to do.
again. Hold on, hold on.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.
Oh my god, you.
Really couldn't have gotten out of here fast.
But what really
Oh,
made the
man,
show
that guy- poor
emotionally
guy.
hit home for me is that description of Sauble Beach, a small rural town on the Great Lakes whose economy relies on summer tourism.
That's the exact description of my hometown.
Well, technically, I'm from the village to the south of St. Joseph, Michigan, is a coastal beach town that swells with visitors every summer from Chicago, Illinois. Or, as locals lovingly call them, FIPS.
growing up, I used to work at this very Jimmy John's, and every summer there'd be a line out the door of people from Chicago waiting to call me a if I didn't put enough mayo in their tuna sandwiches.
Fun.
But by September, the town is back to its bare bones. Like a tide of rich Chicagoans coming in and out and disrespecting our many local traditions, like cherry spitting and fudge gathering. Needless to say, our local economy is a feast and famine of fibs, coming into town and peeing in Lake Michigan.
On October 27th of this year, the Michigan House of Representatives passed House Bill 4722.
Introduced by GOP Congress girl boss Sarah Lightner and backed by special interest groups, which would rip away the local government's power to limit the number of short-term rentals in their own district.
Wow.
In other words, instead of local governments deciding what's best for local communities, rich out-of-town developers and politicians get to decide what's best for local communities.
Very cool. Right.
I wanted to reach out to Representative Sarah Lightner, but unfortunately it seems like she has already moved on to the noble effort of pretending that the election was a fraud and trying to stop ghosts from tampering with future ballots. I feel like she should have a little more respect for Michigan Girl State Speaker of the House 2010. You'd think this was another hot-button issue that divides Michiganders as much as our separate peninsulas, but that's curiously not the case.
According to a poll conducted by the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association, locals overwhelmingly oppose the bill.
Well, yeah.
With a whopping 89% of voters against this bill in its current form. This is probably because the real benefactors of this bill are rich investors like Sarah and April, who have the capital to buy up properties, pay as little as they can to local contractors, and skip town with as big of a profit as they can get away with. 14 years ago, St. Joseph put a ban on short-term rentals in this historic area, as those short-term rentals turned most of these homes into hollow vaginal walls for half of the year and prevented new families from moving in, who would support the local economy year-round and not just during cherry spitting season. Watching this Netflix series was like watching a pink tsunami slowly swallow a town alive. And I grew up in the ripple effects of what happens when locals are priced out of their own town. Back in the day, St. Joseph was the cheap place to get a house. But as the locals were slowly priced out of the area, they started buying properties in the town next door. Benton Harbor, a historically black neighborhood,
Oh, boy.
which today is being gentrified as those black families that have lived there for generations are now also being priced out of that area. And the cycle continues as the June motels of the world stay ever afloat. By the way, if you want to learn more about Benton Harbor's proposed Black Wall Street zone, I've included some links in the description box below. Allowing rich out-of-town investors
Look
and
at that,
large
they're
corporations to buy up
killing the
swaths of
soul
land
here.
drives up the cost of living for everyone else.
Rooms went from $90 to $500.
How is that? How
while
could
sinking
you,
smaller
like,
family-owned
be
businesses.
cool with
These
that?
ladies, truly honorary fibs.
When I was growing up, the locals had somewhat of an ironic parable that we lived by.
The most expensive homes owned by the richest visitors and citizens were on the bluff overlooking the idyllic Silver Beach. But as every year passed, Lake Michigan would take more and more of the beach with it. The houses would end up falling into the bluff, and every year it encroached on the next row of what are now multi-million-dollar homes. The things that made other people feel the richest were also the most precarious, the worst investment, and ultimately fell to the fates of wind, water, and time. I just think these gals are so neat, and I'm so proud of them for doing all of that by themselves. The biggest lesson I learned is to really stick to your own unique sense of style. And there's a lot of creative ways to increase profit margins that involve plywood. Their story is so inspirational for these unprecedented times. And I'm sure widely applicable to an entire audience hoping to open up their own boutique motel empires. And remember, though money can buy happiness and coveted property on the Lake Michigan shore, that's not why these girls did it.
I can't believe there are going to be guests here tomorrow.
It's why we did this all in the first place.
It's kind of hard to remember that sometimes.
It really is.
It's been a really hard year.
What fake
Well,
people?
let's see what some of their customers have to say.
If you're here only to post on the gram, they have a lot of cool spots, but Instagram versus reality is a real thing here.
The plastic roof on the pergola is not at an angle, so the water just pools in the grooves and falls through the cracks.
Almost nothing in town is open because nobody is available for hire once students go back to school.
Wait a minute, this place sounds terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
I've been Junified.
That's such a good moment. This is an iconic moment. That is a moment.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Let me... Alright. That was the first video. I only had like one other video, and I was gonna go through those financial advice TikToks that have I've seen a few people talk about them, so I found the tab. I was just gonna go through and see what dumb stuff I could find. Yeah, but people like that are just like a plague on communities. Like, I can't imagine like watching your community just like fall into that. Like, I don't know, those people like that, like those two girls, are like fake. They're not real people. Yeah, they're humans, sure, but they're like, it's hard to explain. It's like, how do you get that way? They come in and they just ruin a community. They drive out people who live there, and they just make stuff for other people like them. I'm gonna look some stuff up. Well, give me a minute. Motel makeover. Let's look this up. I'm gonna look this up. This is still part of the segment. Let me Google search for that. Sarah, yeah. I know there's a Decider article. Let's see. I just want to learn a little bit more about this show. Oh, I should probably show what I'm doing. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, I think my head's out of the way. Sufficiently out of the way. Let's see. Yeah, this article is going to be positive. I bet. Chilled. Out of the way. Go. Around gold. Yeah, this article is just like completely for them. What is this showing about? What is this article about? Hold on, I'm just skimming. It's just about COVID. Yeah, I gotta find something. Let me find something about these people. Let's look up you. Actress? Okay. What? Why is that? What the hell? Dude, what is wrong with people? Why? Why is that the thing that comes up? Okay, very strange. Oh, they have a LinkedIn. Let's look. Jackie working. A government worker. Travel, yeah. Probably comes from money. Gonna be honest. What about you? You're the other one. Oh, they have their own thing. And a PR agency. Yeah, marketing. They're both PR and marketing. And I'm assuming they both come from money. I don't think, you know. So let's see. Oh, here we go. We're gonna find out more. I think this. They're DIY. Yeah, I'm not surprised that a lot of the coverage is gonna be positive. Let's see if there's anything about their past. Unique one of a kind experiences. Human interaction element. Look at this. Look at this marketing word. Like, come on. Yeah, look at this. Like, we talk about Instagrammable moments. Like, that's like, it's just sucks. Well, you don't even do the DIY. You hire other people to do it for you. Let's see. Inspo trips. Man, just being able to go somewhere for no reason. Yeah. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what people say about this. Ah! Go away. User ratings. There's 23 user ratings. I want to see the user ratings. Let's see. People are actually enjoying this. Now, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. The 1 stars. Absolute trash. Yeah, everyone hates it. I don't know how much of this is sexism, but like, it seems like a lot of them hate their voices, which they do. You know, they do seem fake. Like, even the way they talk seems fake. Just from that clip, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, here's the one. They seem entirely too disinterested in understanding the difficulties of people actually working on their project yeah. He gets it. So bad. Which is yeah. That's funny. No, you don't gotta be nice to them. I'm sure they're nice, but they're cheap. Come on, say what you mean. It seems like most people have a problem with their voice, which is interesting. Which is interesting. That's not what I had a problem with, even just those snippets. It seemed like boring, fake people who just want to ruin small communities. I mean, that's what I got out of that. Yeah. So, very cool. Very cool. So we'll can out of that. And, let's see. We're gonna watch some financial advice TikToks. We're gonna learn how to save money and make money. Learn how to make it big. So, let's see. Alright, let's look for something that looks interesting. How do you know? Here we go, 101. Oh, geez. That's not what I was looking. Oh, boy. Financial Advice 101. Is that what we're gonna... Are you supposed to not, like, legally? You can't call something financial advice? Isn't that, like, how it works? What's this? Do this the moment you turn 18. Well, I'm a couple of years too late for that, but let's see what I should have done.
As soon as you turn 18, you need to get a credit card. Now, I know you're thinking, no, that's how you go into debt and all these problems. No. What you have to do is pay it off every single month in full. What this does is it gets you a good credit score so that when you want to get a house
this
or
is
you
actually
want to get a
good
cheap loan
advice.
or
This
anything
isn't
like that,
funny.
you can do it. Most people don't start building up their credit.
Hey, shut up. That's like real advice. I'm looking for trash. Now let's see what the steampunk guy has to say.
If you get a loan from a bank, you pay it back over 30 years. If you rob a bank, you're out in 10. Follow me for more financial advice.
Now this guy knows what's up. That guy, he knew.
Now, I ain't never been with a baddie.
What was that? That guy knew what was going on. See? He knew what was up. That was actually pretty good. Let's see what you just have to say.
Earlier in my 20s. With my 6 years of trial and error handling my finances and also being a shopaholic, here's what I realized. How you choose to spend and invest your money is your perception of your self-worth.
Really?
Let me explain. If you feel pressured keeping up with your peers, that's also why you're easily influenced with boodle shopping. If you perceive yourself as kalat or disorganized, that's also why you don't understand where your money is going. If you perceive yourself as indecisive and overcritical, that's also why you may be overcomplicating your finances and don't see how it could really help in funding your dreams. But if you believe that you deserve to invest in yourself and prioritize
What
your
does that
dreams,
mean?
then you also know how to spend on what truly adds value to your life. And that's why I'm super passionate about coaching my clients to overcome their self-doubts and fears so they become confident in investing and spending their money for their goals. Follow for more.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Hustle,
here's the best
loyalty,
financial advice that
respect.
I was sharing you earlier in my...
That's what she was peddling. What do you... What's going on here? Oh, that's just music. Pay yourself every month. Okay, so don't spend on money on rent. Got it. That's what I got out of that one. Let's see. There's gotta be something good. What's this? Oh, that's the hashtag I was at earlier. Low budget insurance. What's going on here?
The answer is yes and no.
What?
No kung ang 12,000 ay enough lang sa family expenses at wala nang natitira. And yes kung meron pang sobra at magagamit na pambayad ng insurance mo.
What?
Kwentuhan ko kayo about my client. Let's call her Jana. She's 29 years old, a teacher from Iloilo with 2 sons.
Alright, this is too long. I don't care. Is it not loading? Come on. Give me something interesting. Here we go. What does this say? Stop allowing enemies to shame or guilt you. What is this, like a Jesus thing?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but uncommon favor, undeniable favor is your portion. Every door that was once shut is getting ready to open. If you believe it, I need you to write down below uncommon favor. I don't know who needs to hear this, but
that's like a pretty aggressive. Oh, here we go. What's this about? Oh, it's probably not music. Well, I don't have to worry about being demonetized. Whoa, you are going really fast. Oh, hold on. Starting from nothing. Oh, stop. Just... Ah! Okay. Whoa, hey! Chill out. Think rich, how to win friends. Alright, here we go. Reading these books. It can be selling something. Do drop shipping. Yeah, okay. Oh my god. You can't just drop these paragraphs. Is this a joke? Just start a business, dude. It's so easy. You can just make $10,000. So. Alright, that one was annoying. I didn't like that. Oh, heck yeah, a guy in a suit? Oh, no, that's not a suit. Oh boy.
Ever heard of the $1,000 project? Well, it's how I built a $255,000 share portfolio that pays me a passive income of over $8,700.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Now, just a few hacks that helped me
Making
build
that
this
money.
portfolio include always proactively transferring every single dollar I saved and hustled into a separate dedicated savings account. Then the moment my savings account hit $1,000, I immediately invested that $1,000 into some shares on the Australian stock market. Boring blue chip industrial shares to be precise, through listed investment companies and ETFs. I then included some really smart and conservative gearing in this portfolio. I reinvested all of that income, and I've never sold. Long-term buy and hold. So if you want to know more about this, check out my book, The $1,000 Project. It's a bestseller.
I'm sure you were also born rich. I don't think the stock market, the stock market can get you rich, but I don't think it's that easy. Let's see. Looking for somebody who looks not credible. What the fuck? What is
Never talk about technical things here, but I want to hear your opinion on NFTs. Here's my take. I find I'm kind of an analog guy. I like writing by hand, and I like, real stuff. And I find that everybody fighting over these NFTs, for one scarce thing, it just turns me off. So, what's your opinion on NFTs? Am I wrong?
Okay. I don't know why that was the music choice he had. Oh, should I re-angle the screen for this one? Hold on. Let's see. Maybe we can shrink this down a bit. Oh my god. Of course, my... Aha. Yep. Stop it. Hold on. My mouse is being really annoying. Give me a second. Ah. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure out what's going on with my mouse. My mouse just doesn't want it to do its job. It keeps double clicking, and I don't want it to do that. Yeah, fine. It'll have to do. I'm tired of dealing with this. Oh boy. Here. Does it feel to live? Okay. And give advice and be taken. Okay. That's just someone yelling. Alright, I'm done with this. This is kind of stupid. We can watch another video. This one's a funny video. I like this video. Might have to redo the screen. Yeah. Just when I was done fighting with it just ago. Hold on. Oh my god. My mouse. I don't know what. Hold on. Ah! care. Is it gonna play nice now? We'll just have to watch it like this. Jesus. I think after this, I'll call it quits. Because this is really all I had prepared, and there's like no one here, so not really much point in me sticking around too long.
Project Wingman is a game which encapsulates and
oh, that's a little loud. Hold on.
Defines the term competitive genocide. In a world where Yellowstone National Park has had enough, humanity is plunged into a post-apocalypse where the laws of war are null and void. We play as a mute, possibly autistic psychopath hell-bent on his mission to fight the Australian Illuminati, featuring such notable species as the land battleship, the battleship, and the battle bus, across a multitude of varied and interesting locations like the apocalyptic wasteland that is Los
This
Angeles.
is a VR-compatible game.
Caught in the middle of a conflict between the Pacific Federation and Cascadia, our protagonist is forced to put aside his fight with Jack Sparrow in Louisiana to conduct a second American Revolution and facilitate tax evasion. As a member of the Sicario mercenary group, you're given the tools of destruction you need to fight off the Antichrist, because in this universe, the UN does not solve conflict, it starts it and then escalates it. So like most problems in the world, we resort instead to base violence as a means of international dispute. Bring your jets, your guns, your bombs, and your napalms, because we're going absolute Barbarossa. Confused? Good. We live in a society where this is canonically as expensive as a Mercedes and holds 182 missiles. So if you want to see a parade of destruction, melodrama, questionable engineering choices, and King Crimson, then let me be your guide into the wonderful world of Project Wingman, humanity's first jet-centric game where California finally explodes. Now, I know what you're thinking. A jet game, Max? You've gone insane. Jet games are played by dads that have 12 keyboards and people with actual money. And while it may appear to you that I have money, it's only because I spend it very responsibly. You will be happy to know that Project Wingman is neither a simulation nor has it dug into my extensive budget. I would describe the game as more about piloting a slow Gundam than the actual intricacies of real air combat. Only in Project Wingman can you do the boss fight against the guy with 12 railguns and his force fields. And yes, the force fields do turn into railguns, just like real life. Most people think that jet combat is just about circling, and yeah, that's a thing. But the difference is in how it's contextualized and iterated on, which is by insane people. One mission you might be firefighting, and the next thing you know, Crimson 1 appears for the 6th time near the active volcano. How many flight games do you know include lava damage? And do you want to know the best part? The game is fully playable in VR. Please don't use a keyboard, which allows you to do some goofy shit like physically exiting your cockpit in the middle of a battle. Okay, it's a little windy, but I'm ready. Does anyone else feel lightheaded? I will say though that in order to get the real VR experience, you'll have to repeatedly rotate your head with the light brick strapped to it. I lasted 4 missions on average before the recoiling permanently morphed my spine. You use the radar in your plane by physically looking down, not that you'll be able to by the end. Reviewing the footage, I noticed that there were moments in the game where I just died. That's not me taking off the headset, I just gave up on life. No game will ever make you feel this old, and nothing increases the immersion more than specifically choosing planes with as little visibility as possible for the extra challenge. I beat the entire game in 2 painful sessions, but I had never experienced anything like this ever since my house nearly burned down while playing VTOL VR. What the fuck? So in terms of VR, it's a must-have, because only in VR can we express the true, paralyzing fear of driving. So how do we fly our death machine? VR controls, after all, are difficult. Mr. Smart Guy over here thinks he knows how hands work. First of all, you'll need to get inside your real Project Wingman trademark plane. Turn on the main battery, whatever this is. Turn on the engines, but not too fast. Close your canopy. Clasp the shitting grip. Display. I don't know what this does. Boot Windows. Microsoft Pinball. Smash that radar button. Hit subscribe. Turn off the brakes. Make sure you give the joystick a good jiggle. Now, we're not going to use the carrier's catapult. We're just going to pray. You'll notice I forgot to unfold the wings, which are now detached from the plane. Wingless percent speed, landing gear. You'll notice controlling an aircraft without wings is hard. That's alright, the guys on that destroyer don't have family. Now that we're in the air and in the correct game, what am I supposed to do? The answer is remarkably simple. Missiles. There's a reason you can carry several hundred of them. Missiles are fucking everything. Every specialized weapon for all your terrestrial needs are various permutations of a missile. It's actually a problem because, I mean, I guess you could use unguided bombs if you want to miss. Ace Combat at least had the gall to let me use an unguided laser, but I don't know, what else can you put on a jet? A fucking dolphin? I don't want to emulate the Wii. You also have the option of a gun, which might as well be a laser, and is the most reliable way to kill anything, including entire battleships. What is in the fucking ammo? If normal bullets worked like this, Chicago would be a nuclear wasteland by tomorrow, as opposed to the current wasteland that it is now. Besides that, the controls are exactly what I want out of a jet game, and I don't think they can be improved. What truly makes a combat encounter in the game isn't the simple controls, it's how they're multiplied by the 6 pursuing aircraft. Unlike Ace Combat 7, your allies have the ability to minorly inconvenience each other. They will do, per mission, at least $3 of damage. So the balance between you annihilating everything and there being an actual battle is pretty good, although majorly stacked. Your success is uniquely predicated on the fact that you play as the world's first bloodless human who experiences literally no side effects from the Jupiter strength G-forces that he regularly conducts. You use your newfound power to conduct a series of engagements. 21 engagements. That's a lot of potential war crime trials, which is why we have to win. That being said, anything that we do pales in comparison to the good accomplished by nuking America. We're gonna have to play catch up. Our liberation will take us all across the video game against all manner of foes, including the planes, the big planes, armies of helpless soldiers with families and dogs, and the Federation fleet. Wait, who is that on my screen? Oh, I mean, matey, it's me. Oh, fuck. But what really stands out are the boss fights. Yes, the plane game with boss fights. Shinji, get in the plane. We have to fight the angels or some shit. As for their weaponry, well, it's not physically possible. In order, you fight Crimson Squadron, French woman, and her Australian babe. It's 4 p.m. Time to get in the plane. Crimson Squadron, and Crimson Squadron's very angry nuclear enthusiast. More about him later. He's a guy. You can probably tell that it's character and the dialogue that keeps the game alive. Project Wingman would be an entirely different game if you weren't constantly hearing more complaining than a fucking call center. Silence is so rare that when your ally flips his shit and demands people stop fucking talking, everyone is surprised. So just by playing the game, you get a lot of lore. So I think it's a good time to talk about that. Our story begins, like many, in Wyoming, where Yellowstone National Park does a little trolling, causing the tectonic plates to fucking rupture. In an instant, the entire modern age and Christianity in particular is ended. This, however, created a mysterious, volatile material called cordium, which effectively gave everyone free geothermal energy. And also bombs. What emerged hundreds of years later are the countries of the Pacific: Neo-Mongolia, Large Hawaii, Oceania, and Cascadia. Oceania in particular was once invaded by a cabal of mercenaries attempting to establish diamond dogs or some shit. Thank God that we had Skullface there to help us out. In fact, nearly every military engagement since then has been swayed exclusively by methed up mercenaries. To prevent further challenges to their rule, the Federation tightened its power to include all of the death squads. But primarily, Cascadia was just mad that other people were allowed to use the limitless supply of energy that they had and wanted to sell it to everyone else at a ridiculous markup. This sets the scene for a war of independence which you are caught in the middle of, or rather, insert yourself into for money. Now the thing is, Cascadia is a real nation that exists in the imagination of insufferable people, so I can attest that the geography of where I live is well suited to guerrilla warfare. The entire Cascadian fleet, for instance, is one stolen ship called the Eminent Domain. The Federation, though, is not without a contingency plan. All across their empire, the Federation establishes peacekeepers, that's the real name, elite fighter squadrons of questionable sanity and engagement timing. The peacekeepers are so confident that they arrive late to every single battle that they're in. This directly causes their failure 90% of the time, by the way. The peacekeepers we encounter are the Crimson Squadron, one such group of elites so dedicated that they risked losing their entire air force, went to a volcanic suicide mission, and nuked millions of people because you owned them. Their squadron is led by the infamous and powerful Crimson One, who is elected the whitest among all Oregonians. Unfortunately, he's quite dedicated. Crimson One's idea of protecting his homeland under the banner of the Federation involves nuking it. Twice. It's like he's trying to make anime. He's saving his people from the pain of living. What barbarism will people slip into if we don't have the common travel passes? He's a blast to fight, unlike his friends. I wouldn't consider fighting his squadron to be the peak of gameplay. The game's bosses can be divided into two categories. Bosses that have railguns and this shit. You dodge the Crimson Squadron's missiles by rapidly turning as they approach. But Crimson Squadron themselves are always rapidly turning, sometimes at a 90-degree angle, meaning there is no nuance. While pursuing them, you are invincible. Here's how you fight Crimson Squadron. Turn towards them. Fire a missile. Miss. Fire a missile. Repeat like 10 times until they die.
Oh, and you gotta do this like 8 different times for each individual plane. I am progressively losing my mind. My name is Cleveland Brown.
All in all, dogfights and lore, you know, that's pretty cool, but that's not why you should play the game. Project Wingman is the manic pixie dream girl of vehicle combat. Most battles feature building-sized sky ships. That was an entire boss in Ace Combat 7, and the game's just like, well, have 2 of them fight. Fuck it, you use the lasers. Everything you do has a specific melodramatic reason as part of the wider narrative, and just watching that unfold and how it affects gameplay is the real draw. I see no other way of highlighting how this works than to show you, because Project Wingman is a game that you really need to see to believe. Side note, the pacing of this game's missions are amazing. I liked it so much that I made a graph out of it, printed out the graph, and showed it to my neighbors.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Can you look at my graph?
Our first act begins with an insertion into Cascadia. There's money to be made, people to kill, and most mercenaries are still mad about the Australian incident. But it's obvious that relying on a single mute man is bad. So you're forced to watch as Los Angeles is bombed. Oh no, the horror. It's time to revise our strategy, rethink our options, bomb our own energy sources. This way, no one will get them, except Crimson One, who sees you doing this and gets mad. This will be a theme. Now it's time to steal a boat. We really need that boat, Monarch. It's imperative that you get the boat. By the way, while defending said boat, we make the discovery that cruise missiles in this universe are pigeon-guided and exhibit traits of self-preservation. Now the war is really going on, like really going on. It's time to target a civilian airport because it will help the war. We're denying them potential recruits. They don't even know that they're being bombed because the Federation has been able to keep the war a secret for the past few weeks. This is due to the Great Firewall, which patriotically jams all the Wi-Fi across the entire country. There is only one course of action for me when denied of my YouTube. Violence. A lot of violence. Meanwhile, off the coast of fucking Alaska, the Federation is sending transport aircraft to help in the war effort. These aircraft were intercepted, and then the interception was intercepted, progressing for 9 hours until the entire air force of the two nations are fighting in the same place. Every aircraft. And, wow, it's time to talk about that. Mission 11 is Project Wingman. The planes, the trails, the visual design, every character screaming into my ears at the same time. It is beyond perfect. An epic battle between two titans swayed only by a single mute psychopath. And that music. This track got me pregnant. I think this is a great time to talk about it because the music always fits. Whether it's low tones for a sneaky insertion or a beautiful symphony rising as you descend into battle. I played this mission without the soundtrack, you know, just to torture myself. And it's literally required. This game wouldn't be good without it, and that's a serious testament to the great work that's being done. Also, Crimson One is here, late as usual, and you just beat his ass. Kept in a top-secret facility somewhere on the American continent, there is a woman. You have to track them down. It's for the war effort. So you raid the woman containment facility off the coast of Yellowstone, and she boards her fucking super aircraft with railguns and the turn radius of a nickel. Woman eliminated. Now, let's go down the list. Attack Hawaii for no reason. That's on the list. Attack people in a forest fire. That is definitely on the list. Save civilian lives. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not on the list. It's time to retake Seattle with the Federation in retreat and the war nearly won. With the Air Force in disarray, we're just one step away from... If you're surprised by this, you weren't really watching the video. Do you remember how I said that the Federation basically nukes all of Cascadia? That isn't actually true. It's worse. The Federation didn't just want to nuke us to win the war. They activated all of the cordium deposits in the ground. And do you remember when I said those were used for bombs? That's right. These fuckers just started a second apocalypse. In other video games, war is hell. But in Project Wingman, war is fucking orange. On our way back, we're assaulted again by the same woman. But at this point, I don't care. My retina replicas are damaged. The Fallout New Vegas part of the game has begun, and we're being sent to seize all of the bottle caps that we can hold. Thank you, Joshua Graham. You may notice the game is now very, very orange. That's what the entire rest of the game looks like, and yeah, it hurts. Almost immediately, we're sent back to Seattle to dab on the hordes of homeless people. This is when Crimson One returns, and this time he's very mad. He nuked his house to kill you, and that didn't even work. This leads to a dogfight, which is the dogfight for Mission 11 with additional mental illness. It's clear from the dialogue that Crimson One is not used to losing. Let's help him learn. It's fucking creepy, dude. Jesus. Have a fucking Snickers. With that detour out of the way, it turns out that nukes didn't really help the Federation win. It just made a bunch of guys dress up like the fucking Romans. And with the UN on its last legs, there is one final stronghold for us to bomb. Los Angeles. Fucking finally. We struggle to take the city, fighting foes in the air, on the seas, and attempting to flee my bullets. But after a long and arduous fight, we stand victorious over the city as the music begins to pick up in the background. God fucking damn it. He just does it again. Project Wingman's story is not a Homeric epic. It's not very realistic, nor is it reasonable on any level, but standing over the ruins of everyone that I hate, the Sunny D flashing before my eyes, I come to the realization. Above all, Project Wingman is fun. None of the disparate parts of this schizophrenic game work by themselves. The combat is not Devil May Cry, the lore is not Tolkien, and we are not going to overcome our pride and prejudice. When you make a list, the game doesn't really seem that impressive, but like a chef, if we mix our ingredients well, cook at thermonuclear temperature, and add enough rat poison, we will create a spicy blend that's so out of this world, so balls to the wall, that it makes everything taste perfect. The motivation of our final boss makes no fucking sense. His arc is schizophrenia, and his obsession with you is fucking funny. I've never seen someone write a character based exclusively off of projection, but standing where I am now, there's no one I'd rather fight. He's the perfectly goofy antagonist for a game mostly comprised of clown behavior. The music, the drama, the retinal damage. This fight is as ridiculous as the rest of the game, and I wouldn't want it any other way. How do you like being nuked, you son of a bitch? I would like to thank my benevolent weaponsman.
Alright. Yeah, see, I wanted to play that game. I want to play it in VR, but I gotta, like, it doesn't work with VR controls, which is the weird thing. So my only options are I probably have to pair it with a controller. That's like a whole hassle that I'm not looking forward to doing. But, anyway. Ah, that's what was shifting around. Okay. I'm gonna play retro games next week, and starting next week, I'm gonna probably push this stream a little heavier because I kind of want to stream for a few hours every Sunday or Sunday evening. I've been going for about an hour now. So yeah.